go and purchase a spare key because it's inevitable that your guest will lose a key. What's up? It's your host, Kev B, Mr. Believe of the Believe in Yourself podcast of Believe in Yourself Insurance and Investments. This is going to be the TURO quick tips, and we're going to be dropping them each and every Sunday. So tune in to our YouTube channel every Sunday to catch these quick tips that'll help you on your journey in becoming a TURO Power Super Host and growing your rental car business. This video is brought to you in part by Get Upside. Get some cash back on your next full tank of gas. Peace. Welcome back to another TURO business tips on your TURO business. Now, if you watch a lot of my previous videos, you would know that I buy all of my cars I purchase used. I don't buy any brand new cars. I do my best. I don't get into any leases or any financing agreements. What I do with my cars is, once I get my cars and I purchase them, I put them on a platform immediately. But if any of you have ever purchased a used vehicle, what usually happens is you usually, most cases, get one pair of keys, one set of keys for the vehicle. You don't usually get a backup set. So out of all the cars I've purchased used, I have received one vehicle actually came with two sets of keys. So one of the things that you must do is go and purchase a spare key because it's inevitable that your guest will lose a key. Now, there's been many times I've lost keys, that guests have lost keys. If you've watched any of my previous videos, I spoke about a young lady who rented my car and wound up smoking it out and dirtying it. She lost a key. Then I had another situation where there was a guy on a boat. He rented a car and he went swimming, had the key in his pocket, and the key wound up being lost. This particular story I want to tell you about is interesting to me because the lady lost the key, but then because she had to pay for it and I didn't have a spare key, she then in turn tried to go back to TURO and get a full refund for the entire trip, which had me blown. Of course, TURO asked if that was the agreement between us, and you know previously where I told you in a previous video, TURO only honors certain reimbursements if there is visual proof, meaning documented proof of such incident. So like if there's a ding on your car, you had a picture of the car before and after, okay. Like a guest said, hey, I'm gonna pay for whatever situation that happened with your car, okay. They must have that uploaded into the messages, or if they message you to your phone, you upload the photo, just so there's always documentation and proof of what you're talking of. So with this particular renter, she was renting out my Jeep Patriot 2012 as one small key. It just so happened that I did make a spare key for this vehicle, but I didn't get the full spare key. What I mean by full spare key is on most cars, I believe after 2000 or so, they put a chip in the keys so that when you stick it into the ignition, if the chip isn't reading or registering with the car, you won't be able to turn the car on. So I got just a key made so that if the keys were locked in the car, it can always unlock the doors and then retrieve the key. Obviously, that didn't help me that much in this situation because this particular renter lost the key. So let's go back. The young lady rented the car, I believe it was for the weekend. I'm in South Florida, so there was an event going on this weekend. She probably attended because when she called me about losing the key, she was on South Beach. So we set up everything. Check-in was great. She checked into the car. Everything was good. Set her up. You know, we did my remote check-in. You can watch one of my previous videos if you want to know more about remote check-ins. And got her the keys. She uploaded the photos. We did all the whole spiel. So it gets to, she was going to return the car at 11 p.m., I want to say Sunday night, 11 p.m. It's about 7 or 8 p.m. now, and she calls me. Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't find the key. I've been walking up and down South Beach, and I just can't find the key anywhere. Do you have a spare key? And at this moment, my heart dropped, and I'm like, shit. Yes, I do have a spare key, but the key that I have only unlocks the door. It does not start the car. So here's the scenario. This is what you can do. One, you can find a locksmith, which at Sunday night at this particular time is going to be difficult. They're probably going to charge you an arm and leg to come out and do it. That's your option. Two, you could leave the car there, and of course I would charge you for the cost of me getting the car rekeyed and all that stuff, and I'll just send you the bill afterwards. And three would be keep looking for the key and hopefully you find it. So 3 was kind of out the question because she was already searching for the key and could not find the key. So now she said, okay, let me call you back. I'm gonna try to figure something out. So no, we established that, okay, I'll probably come and pick up the car in the morning. I can't do it now because I have to go to work. I had to go to work at 11. So I knew that leaving my house at about 9 o'clock to go down there and situate the car, it would take a few hours, possibly. And I didn't have the time to really wait because I needed to be at work at 11 p.m. that night. So what happens is she has somebody else call me back. I don't know, maybe there's a guy there who helped her out, said, hey, we got a locksmith. We're going to get him to come down and fix the key. Is that okay? I'm like, sure, that's not a problem. Cool. It's coming out of your pocket. You know, it's not coming out of mine. If you can afford it, that's fine. Cool. So they do it. They get the key remade, and she brings the car back about 2 hours late. She comes back at about 1 a.m. Expected. I didn't really charge her any late fee. I did not charge her a late fee because she was in communication with me the entire time. So I had not a problem with it. So she returned the car. It was good. You know, she returned the car. I believe it was slightly late, but the gas was full and it was moderately clean on the inside. So I had no problem. I gave her a 5-star. She gave me a 5-star review. So I thought everything was good. About a day later, TURO calls me up and is like, hey, your renter wants to know if they can have a full refund for the trip because the brakes were a little squeaky. I'm like, brakes were a little squeaky? When I gave her the car wasn't squeaking. There was no brake squeakage. I told them, you guys can check the records. I just recently had a vehicle inspection. This is probably March. So I just had the vehicle inspection in December. So if the brakes are squeaking, it could possibly happen. You know, natural wear and tear. 3 months later, things happen. But it wasn't because of a failure on my end. You know, it wasn't because I did something wrong. It's because it's just normal wear and tear, and I'm going to get the brakes done. Actually, she did mention it to me when she was returning the car that the brakes were making a little bit of a noise. But I didn't think nothing of it. I said, okay, I'll look into it, which I was going to do the next day. And so there's nothing. But to give her a full refund, I'm like, hell no. But it clicked to me like, oh, this is the woman that lost the key. So what she was probably trying to do, and this is just speculation, I don't know. She probably was trying to recoup the loss that she had from losing the key and having to pay for a locksmith to come out on a Sunday night to remake a key for her, which I'm pretty sure is pretty pricey. Because to make that type of key is a minimum, especially if it's a chip, it's probably a minimum of $100 just for the key. Now, we're not talking about if the locksmith is coming out to you in South Beach and all these other exorbitant cost that she probably accrued, which have probably matched the amount that she probably budgeted for the rental. But that's not on me. Don't try and then come back and get a freebie on me. No, we're not going to do that. So I declined it, and I love Turo for that. You know, they give me the option to either honor a guest request or not honor the guest request. Now, that isn't always the case. There are situations where it's not up to you. Turo is the final say whether or not the reimbursement will be filled and you're stuck with the bill or not stuck with the bill. But in this particular case, because the guest said there was a mechanical issue with the vehicle, that they should be reimbursed fully for the car, which I called BS and said, no, they're probably just trying to get some money back because they lost the key. So that's a good case right there where as long as you do your part, Turo was able to research. They saw that, oh, yes, you did just recently get the car serviced, so it's probably just a normal wear and tear. Okay, so something on you. Don't worry about it, sir, which I love that. So that's another thing. You want to make sure you're always getting your inspections when they're due, and you want to always just keep good documentation of everything. I even showed them the messages that the girl sent me about losing the key and things like that, and that she had to pay for it because I didn't have a spare key, which if I did, I still would have made her pay for the spare key just because it's not I didn't lose it. You lost it. That's your loss. So just be mindful out there. Make sure that when you do get your guys' cars, you do purchase a used car, if it does not come with the spare, don't go the cheap route like me. Go ahead, get the full-fledged key, and always have one on deck because you never know when you're going to need it. Maybe I could have went down there and got it for the girl, picked it up, gave her the spare key, but then she probably would have thought in her mind like she didn't have to pay for a new one. So what you do with that spare key is up to you, but always have that spare key because there are incidents that's happened, and I can tell you at least 4 or 5 times I believe it's happened to me where the guest has lost the key. Knocking on wood, there's no wood around me, but each and every incident the guest has not had a problem getting the key fixed. Whether they had to go to the dealer, whether they had to just find a locksmith, but in all cases, the guest will get the key fixed and get another key done for you. But it's always a good thing to have a spare key because you never know. There may be a situation that comes up where the guest loses the key and they got to go catch a flight. They don't got time to get the locksmith, and now it's on you. So just always have that in the back of your head, man. And I just want to put that out there. Something that happened to me where a guest tried to get a reimbursement for to me, no particular reason. But yeah, so make sure you get your spare key and have that on hand, man. Once again, it's your boy Kev B. Leave a message in the comments for what you want to see next, and I will holler at you next one. Peace.